TBS title match, Willow Nightengale defeating Julia Hart in just a demolition like fashion. I was very happy to see this. I was this was on my wish list for a while. I was done with
the match or the result.
Oh, the result pretty much. Like,
okay, I was say if your dream match was Willow Night, it was a Julian Hart match. I don't know.
I was saying I was ready for.
I didn't want to be rude or anything, but I was like, this nigga is lying.
Yeah, I
yes. But you
misspoke because
do you remember what they brought Mark Henry ass out to do like the video package for one of the pay-per-view matches. I think it was Ruby Soho and Britt Baker, and he said, I think this is the build up, this is a video package where people are talking about the match before they come out to the ring. He said, I think they had one of the greatest matches of all time. That was that kind of line. That not that level of line, like the one below. Like,
what it thought made me think of is, you remember Tough Enough? Who was it? Cameron, and they asked her what her favorite match was. She said Melina versus Alicia Fox. Yes, exactly.
No,
she said that's it.
I've been trying hard to keep Julia Hart out of the Liv Morgan division, which y'all know, like when so somebody gets over there with me, it's like
she's too young to go. She's too young to be put there. She's too young to be put
there. Julia's better. I'm sorry. Liv is a better wrestler right now today, is a better in-ring performer. Julia has better prospects of not being a loser.
Correct.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Because Liv Morgan will never win. And once again,
do we need to get to that now and then we'll move back to the match?
Sure thing. So last night, Monday Night Raw, I flew in from St. Louis, so I was tired. I took my ass to sleep like around, I don't know. I was watching, Keek show with Lyric, and I went to sleep like, maybe like 9:45, something like that. And I was tired. I had gotten news of this battle royal that was taking place, and I already and shout out to RJ Staggs, I believe, who sent me this tweet. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe that they're about to, because it come out that Liv Morgan was the betting favorite, supposedly, or rumored to win. And then he said, man, this is set up for Rich to just go crazy because she's going to win the title without pinning somebody. So, like, that just adds to the Liv Morgan will never win prophecy. But then an even better thing happened, James. She got to the final two and thrown out by Becky Lynch, the Four Horsewomen.
She didn't even get thrown out. She got dropped. She got dropped on the apron and she melted off to the floor like Velveeta in the microwave, bro.
Correct. Their hopes and dreams died. All the stands, and it just made Liv Morgan will never win. One of the great quotes in the history of One Nation, a Hall of Fame like quote in the annals of One Nation Radio. Like, that's. At this point, I'm not even arguing. It's like, don't debate me. Debate the data, what it says, like over here.
I do think that people have to realize that their idea of what should happen in wrestling is not what does happen in wrestling. And I feel like especially WWE fans keep deluding themselves with like the Iron Man of a battle royal, of like that final two. Oh, that means something big is coming for them.
They don't.
Oh, if it does, let's go back to last year, right? Let's go
in a better ran promotion at times. It does. Sometimes 100%. But like we had people like Kofi Mania, 2018 Seth Rollins in the gauntlet matches. If you run the race and you get further than anyone expected, you will get more over. But it's the rest. But you can't do that every single year.
Absolutely, and I think last year, let's look, right? Both the men's and women's Royal Rumble, both Royal Rumbles, right? So, for example, Cody and Gunther ends up being the Iron Man. So I was like, well, there's no way he's not in the main event of one of these main events next year. Like WrestleMania 40, this should be the time that they crown the next star. Like that means that if Gunther is runner-up this year, that means that next year he's going to be the star, only to end up defending the same title against an opponent he's already had, not even at the top of the card. Same thing with the women's Royal Rumble, right? Who are the final two? What was it, Rhea and Liv? Liv ends up going down.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, well, that means they got something for her. She was in the final 2. I know that's right. Yes, bestie slay. Amazing.
Sidelined.
And then, bruh. And it's just like, oh, well, when she comes back from this injury, I know they have big plans for her. And you know what they do? They put a baseball bat in her hands. They add a little extra mascara and eyeliner to make her look a little spooky. And they never push her anywhere. And this is not my critique on Liv Morgan specifically. This is just my critique of, if you really want more for this girl, you're blaming the wrong people. You're upset at the wrong people because
they're mad at other wrestlers as opposed to
you're mad at other wrestlers rather than like the people, like, because clearly they don't have.
Talk about Becky Lynch is just insanity to me.
Sorry, a friend of the show, Tanya from Suplex and Shea Butter, she tweeted out that like there are a bunch of people that are like on this, the Horsewomen are like a terrorist act that have hoarded like titles and achievements from a generation of women's wrestlers. And I'm like, and then she pointed out, like, you know, there's Bianca, there's Rhea, there's Alexa Bliss, there's Asuka they're all, you know, quote unquote, that did shit all in this run. I was like, I'll go a step further. During this whole, you know, Horsewomen run of dominance, which is really them being too lazy to say that Charlotte was the one that was overpushed. Like Alexa Bliss was Raw or SmackDown Women's Champion for 445 days of a 490-day stretch. For out of 490 days, she was only not champion 45 days. What the fuck are we talking about? Who has redone this history and lied like this? Do we not see what happened to Bayley in our own fucking hometown facing the Alexa Bliss push? Strange, man.
I think it's also is one of those things of just, how do I say? Oh, I don't think there's a good way to say this. Okay. I think that there's been a shift that has occurred specifically as it relates to that women's division. And I think that there was a time when they were bringing in these indie girls who genuinely wanted to be wrestlers. I feel like that's what the Horsewomen represent, right? Like under that generation of bringing in girls who actually want to be wrestlers. And whether you like them or not, they each became superstars, megastars. And it was very organic because, like I said, they wanted to be wrestlers. And I think that a lot of times now when people are picking their faves or, you know, like, oh my God, I stan you. People are not choosing these girls because they're their favorite wrestlers. It's because like they like what they look. Oh, she's so this, she's so that. Don't get me wrong. I love a good look. I love a good look. But like my faves look good and can wrestle. Respect. And I think that we've gotten away from that.
I've always been of the opinion of they all look good. They all like
at this point,
there's something for everybody.
There's nobody ugly. Because guess what? Ugly women can't even get their foot in the door.
Right. That's my point's always been is
everybody looks great. Because like anybody,
this is Vince McMahon's company. Who the fuck what woman's unattractive on his screen ever?
Absolutely. And like it sucks. It's not right at all. But a woman who is deemed not conventionally attractive, not getting her foot in the door, period. And like, let's start there.
Unless you're China.
Well, yes.
Because the heat was she's this big buff woman that's getting heat for Triple H. That's it.
And now, like, they have a roster full of stallions. And so, like, that is Triple H's MO. I want these tall muscle mommies who are beautiful and look like they can destroy you. That is what I want. That is what he has several. There's a full lineup. And I feel like a lot of people, they like to cast blame on the Horsewomen of like, they take everything, etc. Blah, blah. But let's look
up good wrestling.
Let's look up and down that roster. Who is actually really ready? There's a reason why there hasn't been it's not that they haven't tried to make stars out of them. Not saying, I'll be honest, any of these attempts are not like particularly like mind-blowing. But there have been attempts to create new stars.
Yeah.
It just hasn't it just hasn't always taken. Like you said, Alexa Bliss was hugely pushed. Got to a point where she was getting more push than Sasha Banks.
Oh yeah.
Oh, not at a point. The whole time.
Absolutely.
It was as fuck.
So Alexa Bliss is one of those people. Who else ended up receiving some type of like obviously Asuka?
Oh, I mean, right now, I mean, they look the Lacey Evans thing they tried to do.
Oh yeah,
they tried Lacey Evans
cut the mustard in the ring
and over and over again, and I think that's also one of those things too. Black wrestling fans,
Carmella,
if they want something to work, they're going to try everything. And black wrestlers do not get that type of. Right. They don't get that type of grace, which is why Bianca Belair is so extraordinary to me, because she was the one who comes after that 4 Horsewoman era. She doesn't have a wrestling background, and honestly, with her gimmick being as pro-black as it was, with one failure, she would have been out. She would have been done.
I think at worst case scenario, you can always flip that to a heel gimmick, and like they can play up the fans resent her because of exactly.
But here's the thing: you couldn't turn Bianca heel like that without asking for full-on unadulterated racism.
Oh yeah,
like we've never seen like her coming out in her Black History gear and having like literally "I'm Black" written on her ass. Like I don't think that's the type of heel dynamic you want to enter, because it wasn't going to be pretty. And I think
I don't disagree.
And
but I also don't think it would have been full on like New Jack either.
Well, no, I don't. I don't. But what I'm saying is more so of just like Bianca only had
her safety, her mental and physical safety. Yeah.
We only really had one shot to get this right. And like that's the reason why I do believe she's the most successful truly of the post 4 Horsewoman era. She ran the gauntlet, with the girls. She had to perform at that level. And I just think people need to be honest. Do you think that some of your faves can have the matches, the match quality, the match significance and legacy that these women have had at a WrestleMania or a pay-per-view? No.
We just throw them to the side.
I mean, outside of like 4 people, I say no.
Outside of like 4 people.
Yeah,
there's only
like 4 people. Io, Kyrie, Rhea, and Bianca. That's it.
I wouldn't even put Kyrie up there as a singles wrestler. I would put Asuka up there as a singles wrestler.
Oh, Asuka, I forgot Asuka. That'd be
as a singles wrestler, because Kyrie on the main roster as a single star, she never really got to like take off.
They never tried it with her because they made her Asuka's pin eater. But I meant like as far as like far as like the bell rings, you get the fuck out the way. We know her skill level.
Exactly, and that's why I think the thing with Tiffany Stratton is so interesting. Because Tiffany is really good. Like, she's really good. She's gotten really good really fast. And it's just like, why is she not being monster pushed to the moon right now? Like, why? I've never really advocated. I rarely advocate for white women. But Tiffany Stratton deserves the Bianca Belair push that Bianca got back in when she won the Rumble in 2020 and like going straight to WrestleMania. Tiffany is one of them people who deserve that type of treatment. And I haven't been able to say that since Bianca. Tiffany deserves it.
Hey, I got a question.
I watch her wrestle. I'm just like, oh, she does really cool spots, but I don't think she can wrestle worth a damn between the music between those. And then like the thing is like you can already do certain things that other women can't do, so that should make her special enough if you just nurture it.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying that bell to bell she's a ring general. She's not. Like she's still very new, very green, and she was also trained in a system to where if she ever had to leave it, she might not know what to do. However, she is showing more progress, and she has the highest upside of just like, okay, a year from now, I know she's going to be 10 times better than she is going to right now. 2 years, like 2 years from now, I know she's going to be 20 times better. Can we say that there's some people who've been on that roster, on that main roster for the past damn near 10 years, and people are still saying,
can we open this up to women's AMRES or no?
Look, Liv Morgan been around since 2017, Lyric.
And like here's the thing, I think Liv has a great personality. I think like she's so spunky. I think that she has a lot of great energy. And honestly, I've enjoyed some of her matches, but like saying that, just the implication that she's on horsewoman level. Here's the thing.
Categorically false. Like, I don't.
It's crazy, and it's just like, it's one of those things of just like, you don't have to like Becky. I promise you don't. Like, a lot of people don't like Becky. A lot of people don't like Charlotte. Some people don't like Sasha. Right? That is fine. But we are talking about 4 women who quite literally changed the face of women's wrestling for this entire continent. Very few women are in their caliber. And I'm going to be honest, most of the women who are not in that company. They're just not. And the ones that are, they're not the ones that are your faves.
Just got a question from King of the North. He said, Rich, do you still have the list of Alexa Bliss's best matches? As a matter of fact, I do. That's the list.
I was just gonna say that match she had with Sasha. That's it. That's about it for me.
Not even needed.
Not even that.
Not even needed.
Not even that. We're going to praise somebody for their little 3 1/4 star match.
I mean, you got it. I was trying to be nice about it, actually, but
look, as you said, we rarely praise somebody on this podcast.
Hey, I have buried Alexa Bliss for years on this show, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm trying to keep Julia Hart out of that, that mode.
And also, Julia has showed a lot of promise in a very short amount of time, and I think that the only mistake that was really made was her holding the title as long as she did. I think like that reign should have been probably a bit shorter, but at the same time, like for her age, she has been evolving. She's been showing growth. And like, I do think that it's cool to have women have more characters in wrestling. She's one of the only she's genuinely one of the only people in wrestling period who has done a spooky mist gimmick and has not completely turned me off. Like, and that is an accomplishment, because most people who have done spooky mist gimmicks in wrestling, I've hated.
I gotta say, like, since the last 5 years, unless you are Kagetsu, I have not given a fuck about you blowing mist.
No. I'm not saying like it's my favorite thing.
No, I'm with you. Is what I'm saying. Like, so like, she's done something to like make me, for that goofiness to make it work for you,
And I think even like, for example, like when she first missed at Willow, that was one of the first times I've ever seen mist used effectively to really advance the storyline, because I really loved the fact that she missed at Willow, but Willow is so pure that every week she just continues to fight past it, and she never let the darkness take her over. But Sky always had like that little like side of her. So yeah, it ended up taking for her. Like, I think that is just one of the most subtle uses of in-ring storytelling, rather than just like, oh yeah, let's end Bianca's historic match title reign of being the longest women's champion of the modern era with getting misted by Asuka in Saudi Arabia. I think that sounds great.
Yeah, man. So Willow Nightengale, the new TBS champion, in a squish.
We talk about everything but the match. That lets you know how good the match was, or wasn't, more specifically.
In a squish, pretty much. I don't even want to say a squash here.
She got squalls.
Yeah, so congrats to Willow Nightengale. Somebody's, also took the long route. She was, I remember that time she lost to Brandy Rhodes on AEW Dark. I remember
Willow lost to everybody. Like, she lost to Jade 4 times. Like, she's challenged for this belt a lot, and I think that's why it was so special for her first championship to be this belt specifically, because we've watched her try and fail even before she was signed. And Willow is clearly, in my opinion, probably the best babyface in wrestling. Definitely like the best young pure babyface, in the sense of just being just pure sunshine everywhere she goes. And I think she's very much similar to Swerve in the sense of she did the stuff that a lot of people weren't willing to do. She's always been dependable. And she's the person who's always had the trust of the company. Like Willow is the only woman who's ever gotten that international experience of being able to represent AEW and New Japan, represent them at CMLL, represent them in Stardom. And so I'm very happy for her, but like
Tokyo Doshi Pro too. Sorry.
Yes, she did TJPW too. And so like as we go into Double or Nothing, as excited as I am, I already know like people are going to, it's about to get nasty. It's about to get disgusting. And
two black women wrestling each other ain't gonna matter.
And and so
ain't gonna...
as much as I'm ready for the smoke, I genuinely hate that once she's going to even have to go through that. But I do think that people are underestimating her specifically. Like Willow isn't just a flavor of the month or just an opponent for Mercedes. She is a legitimate cornerstone of that AEW women's division. And in my opinion, she's one of the most unique women's wrestlers in America right now. Like there's nobody to compare her to in any other company. There's nobody like her. She is truly one of one. And so she's special. And I think that despite all the discourse, she's going to rise above it.
Yeah. I mean, where do we have her? Only behind Athena last year as far as AmRest Woman of the Year? Bell to bell, Rich?
Yeah, no one else I can really think of.
Yeah. Super excited that she won a title. The first time I saw her, I was like, that's it. That is it. That is a special person. And that's all the reaction she had with the crowd. I was like, this is somebody that just came in here out of nowhere, and like the crowd's behind her, and she just because of the energy and the present positivity. And I was like, this is like New Day-ish without like it immediately being turned on when they first showed up. Is like imagine like New Day just showed up and then everyone loved them immediately, as opposed to they had to work heel first to then get crowd love them. It was like that. Like this is like unicorns and rainbows and shit. And it's like this is really actually joyous. This is nice. This is fun. Is this what joy is? This is happiness. This is love. This is delightful. So yeah, I've always liked her. And then the match started happening. I was like, oh, she can actually go. Okay. Tony's assigned her for months. I was like, why the fuck did I only see her, these little shots here and there? Why is she not signed? And then she got signed. I was super happy. So like I'm very glad. And obviously, she gets in there with Mercedes, and like I expected them to have a really good match once Mercedes is cleared and all that kind of stuff because of the calibers they're on as wrestlers in the spotlight in the showcase they'll be given because of Mercedes, and the time should be able to command because of the star power and also the dollars she has. She's getting from Tony Khan now. So yeah, I'm excited. I just want to see Willow, go out there and have some fun defenses up until it's time to do the thing, but it's gonna be fun when they do the thing.
Yep.